There's no reason for a Malkavian not to think they're a Ventrue.
Dementation does bear many resemblances to Dominate, that's true.
Nice work, fledgling. I felt that explosion a mile away. It's all over the news, too. Man.
Actually, before the game introduced the discipline of Dementation, Malkavians had Dominate as well.
What's the difference between the two disciplines? Just so...
One of them makes you crazy, one of them's just taking someone over.
Yeah, Dominate's just that the old school vampire mind control thing, you know, stare into their eyes and you can control them. Dementation is you are mad and you can share your madness with others.
Do they both end up having the same practical effect?
The low levels have the same practical effects, and by the game mechanics of this game, they do have the exact same practical effects.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much the same, it's just that Dementation is much, much funnier.
I'm sure.
This Doomsayer has got pretty nutty quotes. I have seen the face of the demon and it is excited. Well...
Did we do Nox's quest?
Nox's quests...
Like the one he'll
No,
give
no,
you.
we... Actually, hang on a second. I don't think we did.
I mean, it's an optional, we don't have to, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get to it sometime, but you want to do that now? I mean, I'd usually waited so that I, wouldn't have...
No, actually what I really want us to get to is to get the cab around so I can make you do something.
Alright, Cab will be here as soon as I go yak at Mercurio.
Yes, I am the devil on your shoulder, and Krellin is the bigger devil on your shoulder.
Man, don't make this a cartoon, guys.
I just like pointing out the some interesting things about the game and the lore and so forth.
Oh, you're right. He went down to the... Okay, never mind. I have got the cab now. I am misremembering this quest. Thought it was a check-in with Mercurio. Nope, I'm checking in straight with Prince LaCroix.
So before you get into the cab, just walk up to the driver's side and turn on Auspex.
I'm assuming that means he's a vampire.
He is purple.
So there is speculation that he is intended to be one of two characters, both of whom are named Kane.
Where to?
And one of those two characters he's supposed to be intended to be is supposedly the Kane. The other is a Malkavian that calls himself Kane, who thinks he is Kane.
So, what do you believe, that fan theory?
Well, he most certainly is a character named Kane. I know because I've messed with the files before.
Yeah, I mean he does show up in the files, like his voice files are named Kane, so forth.
Okay, then second question: which side do you fall under? The Malkavian who thinks he's Kane, or the actual Kane?
I don't think the actual Kane is ever intended to ever actually be a physical thing in the game, so I think he's the Malkavian.
With this one. Think you could blow up our warehouse and get away with it? Ah, lick.
Well, I guess this is going to be a short game.
So we get ambushed in the cutscene. Is this the prison escape scene?
I want
Nah.
Thank God.
Camarilla, fuck. Boys, I think we could all use a little entertainment. Those of you sitting in the first
It does break the fourth wall, though.
will get wet.
Man, those guys need a wash.
Son of a bitch!
Is he Malkavian or something?
That guy
Leave.
is a La Sombra, and the other two are
Three
Shinichi.
of us, Rodriguez.
You can't just say that without explaining what those are.
Those are the
Well, they're
two
not
clans that make
you
up
do.
the.
What are you gonna
They're,
You
they're
don't
the
really
two
see
clans
much
that
of
make
them.
up the bulk of
Shoot
the
us.
Sabbat.
They're not playable clans, and you don't really see them except as NPC Sabbat enemies. So
You too, Rodriguez. You
I guess we can talk about the Tsumise because we get to see a lot of Andre.
The Tsumitsu do play a fairly major role in this game. The Sombra not so much.
Trouble sure seems to like you.
The Tsumitsu are body crafters. They relish their
Good
inhumanity.
Execution needs a little work. You look like shit.
So what?
Name's Nines.
So who is this guy?
Well, this is
His
Nines
name's
Rodriguez,
Nines.
and this is the second time he has saved our life.
He doesn't look like a vampire. Unless I'm
Should have
mistaken.
been more careful. man.
He's
This
not
ain't the
particularly.
burbs.
I mean, he's older than you, but he's not a very old vampire. He's less than a century old.
Yeah, his story is depression, I believe.
And he's supposed to be Hispanic, so he's actually incredibly pale.
Hmm. He looks like a 30-something white dude from here, so I couldn't tell.
You do that. Me?
Yeah, well, that's.
I got things to deal
He's
with.
supposed to be
Why don't
he's
you
supposed
pay
to be
me a
like
visit at the
he's
last
a
round tonight?
Rodriguez.
I don't know what you've
Yeah.
heard so far, but it's time you heard the real story. This is a mean existence.
I get you,
Stay out of
Hefe.
trouble, kid.
Please don't go remembering your high school Spanish.
I actually live in New Mexico. I actually speak a little bit of Spanish.
Yeah, well, I don't think that he's got that luxury.
I live in the northeast of the United States. No, I do not have that luxury.
No, if you speak spoken language, it should probably be French.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Brendan Kelly. Comment t'appelles-tu?
Stop.
Hey, look, it's Chunk.
Look familiar.
I actually did take a French class in middle school.
Oh, yeah, back in Santa Monica, right?
That's even worse than high school Spanish. Please don't go there.
Now I got this sweet night shift position, and I'm happy than the
I
time I
know.
met Superwoods. Enough about
So
my
if
life
you
break.
end up killing the security guard to get into the art place at in Santa Monica, who looks like this guy, it actually turns out that was his brother.
Wow.
Way to save a model, guys.
Would that be Sebastian LaCroix of the LaCroix
Yeah, we
Foundation,
spared no expense
or
copying
Clay
and
LaCroix
pasting
of
this model.
Inspiration Baby Formula Company? Okay then.
I love
Mr.
the "what do you
LaCroix
think,
told me
genius?"
to expect someone fitting your description sometime tonight. You go right on up. Yeah, you have a good power meeting or whatever it is you types do up there. You need any
Way to play a
security?
Tremere.
Well, you just ring the front desk and ask for Officer Chunk. That's me, in case you were wondering.
Officer Chunk. That name makes me chuckle.
He sure looks it.
I was afraid to make the joke.
You're gonna get a lot of characterization from Chunk throughout the game. Basically, every time you go see LaCroix.
Badass in real life, so I shouldn't be afraid of making the joke.
I mean, how do you think he got the nickname?
He is one chunky monkey, I'll
There
tell
you
you
are.
that.
I was informed of your presence in the building. Most excellent. I had no doubt you'd prove my decision a prudent one. I trust you encountered no impediments to your progress on account of my personnel. That is the answer I like to hear. You've
So I
done well,
could have sold out
circumstances
Mercurio
being
there.
what they were.
I chose not to
Admit,
because
not
why would
many
I?
in your
I believe
position
if you
would
do,
have
he gives you a
overcome such
small
trial.
monetary reward.
But don't misunderstand me. It was no
And
fool's errand.
Etc.
You
has
get
repeatedly
proof
said how
of
much he doesn't need
genuine
money in
asset.
this game.
It's a bit disturbing.
Yeah,
the
he
lack
also
of
doesn't
talent
need to get
within
on
this organization
LaCroix's
as
good
of late.
side because his upgraded
Tell
Haven
me,
has nothing to do
What
with
would you
LaCroix's
say to
good
doing
graces.
A bit of reconnaissance
being a Tremere.
for me? Excellent.
I
You by
personally
chance
prefer
did
not to
military at
piss
all?
off LaCroix anyways.
I was an officer myself,
Just-
actually. In
Did you say
Napoleon's
like
ranks.
Special
There have been
Haven or
whispers.
something?
Rumors spreading
so
around
yeah,
the
you know that apartment we
community
started out in
concerning the
Santa
Elizabeth
Monica?
Dane.
Yeah.
After a while,
The
you can get
cargo
a
ship
better
was towed
one
into port
downtown.
recently. Have you heard of it?
Either by schmoozing LaCroix so that he gives you one, or if you're a Nosferatu or a Tremere, there are certain quests you can do for the appropriate individuals that will get you a other one.
I can see why Nosferatu might not get a apartment from this pompous jackass,
The
but
police are investigating
why
the
not
Dane
the
as we
Tremere?
speak.
The
Even
Tremere as a
Nosferatu
clan
have
are
little
generally
information
not
on what's
trusted
been
by
found.
any of the other
However,
clans.
the reason the ship has caused such speculation
Yeah,
is because it was
and
transporting
besides
an
which,
object
Tremere can
called
get
the
better digs anyways.
Uncommon
I'll show you on the
Sarcophagus.
next side quest I
Now,
do.
I'm not one
You're gonna go talk
predicate
to
a decision
Strauss?
based on conjecture.
Yeah, Strauss is a
So what I need
cool enough guy.
is fact.
Strauss is cool.
And more
Strauss is really
importantly,
cool if you're a
I need
Tremere.
evidence that the occurrences on the Dane were not supernatural in nature.
Well, I'm glad I get to see
and
more of
in
him
no
then.
way relate to this Ankaran sarcophagus.
Ooh,
You
we're
have
going to
3
ancient Egypt.
objectives. 1. I want
No,
you to
we're going
examine
to a
the
ship in the
sarcophagus
harbor.
for anything unusual.
Oh.
It
That
makes
has
sense
relics
something
from ancient
peculiar about the sarcophagus. In fact, many kindred in the city have reported an uneasiness in the air since the Dane's arrival. Do not, under any circumstances, open the Ankaran sarcophagus. Secondly, the police have begun their investigation. Find out what they have concluded thus far. Thirdly,
Okay,
take the
according to
cargo
RPG
manifest for the
rules,
ship.
whenever someone tells you
I
not
want
to do
find out
something, you're
what
probably
else
going to
is
end up having to do it.
The last thing we want is police aware of our existence.
It's
So, be careful what you
Not
do.
quite.
you can do it.
You cannot
This
wholesale slaughter
incidentally
ships
is
of
the
lawmen
start of like
without
the
consequences.
meta arc of the
Does it
entire
seem so?
game. The Ankaran sarcophagus thing is basically what this game's story is.
Well, that started a while back. That was the news report on the TV in the Haven.
Good. Oh,
Well, yeah,
It has
they
come to my
kind of
attention
you get it in the
that you had an
background, but
encounter
this
with
is
Nines
the
Rodriguez
character's
earlier.
direct
the man
introduction.
so does love to throw that cretinous charm of his brashly about. What exactly did Mr. Rodriguez say? I see. Then, you should go humor the by-the-numbers rhetoric he's so desperately aching to spew. Oh, please, before the chance of fascist oppressor from that dive of theirs clog the air and choke the local kine. Give the Anarch community my regards.
I take it LaCroix and Rodriguez do not get along.
Yeah, so Nines is going to talk a little bit about this, though he does always give you a limited number of dialogue options, so you don't get to explore everything. But one of the major conflicts in Los Angeles right now is the fact that LaCroix is here. Los Angeles used to be what is called an anarch-free state, free from the rules of the Camarilla, not invaded by the Sabbat. And so the anarchs ruled. But then the Eastern vampires showed up and started killing everybody, and they needed help, and the Camarilla showed up and said, hey, we'll help you, but you have to let us in. And so, to unite against the common enemy, the anarchs had to accept the Camarilla back into the city.
I take it this causes friction in the city. Quite a bit of friction.
Yeah, so the first time Nines saved your life was right at the beginning when we were made a vampire. He was the one who said that killing you was bullshit. And that's because Anarch law doesn't recognize the prince's ability to determine who can and cannot make vampires. Anarchs say, go ahead and make a vampire, you're just responsible for them if they screw up.
But yeah, the Anarchs and the Camarilla are... No, they're strongly ideologically opposed, and you'll see that, but they're still relatively close as far as factions go. They both believe in the Masquerade, and they both don't do... what was it called again?
Diablerie.
Yeah, Diablerie. And
from what I can gather, the Camarilla have a very strict code with what you can and can't do. The Anarchs have a less strict, but still kind of sort of strict moral code. And the Sabbat are like, fuck everything.
Basically, it boils down to generation. The Camarilla is a society run mostly by the 5th generation vampires, and the 4th generation vampires. They're the heads that run the whole organization. The Anarchs are higher generation, mostly 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, who think having the Elders run everything is kind of not cool. There's more of them. They should be able to... Oh, hey, they moved him. The Anarchs believe that the vampires should be a little more egalitarian.
Okay, now let's go.
So they're the Dude Bros of the vampire world.
Yeah, you could say that. Like one of the Anarchs you can spend a lot of time talking to is Damsel, and she is quite clearly a communist.
Okay, so first we're gonna go meet Strauss. I already know where Strauss lives because I've done this before. But Strauss has sent you a riddle here. Come find me where burned the mystical sun. And that is apparently this shiny purple thing. So,